Thank you very much, Muruganandam. As Muruganandam was saying, we have a lot of our alumni who have become great achievers in their life, and it's so interesting and wonderful to know that many of our alumnus have become senior IAS officers, embassies in foreign countries, and big business people, and very high-ranking teachers and principals in various institutions. Although we will not be able to call every one of the alumnus here to share their path of growth in their career, we have identified 4 of them and would request them to share their path of growth, so that we are sure that the management and the chairman will be very interested to know how students from their college have reached heights in their life. So one such speaker I would like to introduce you, who is going to share his meteoric growth. This person did his Bachelor of Business Administration in our college. His father was a personal officer in TAFE, and he put him in our college, and he studied here. And immediately, even during the college days, he ranked very high in studies. He passed out in first class, and he was a very high-ranking student, NCC cadet. And after graduation, he joined a small distribution company like Hindustan Levers as a person to look after that small distributor company here in Luz. And from there, he joined the Syndicate Bank as a probationary officer. And since then, he has been coming up very, very well, and he started a hotel in Mysore, Hotel Siddhartha, and it's a moderate type of size of hotel, and because of his hard work, now he has got close to 10 big holiday resorts, not only in the country but also in overseas. And this person has won the honor of as one of the best hoteliers by the French government, and he has been awarded honor from them. And his hotel is one among the top 100 hotels in our country. And now I have immense pleasure in welcoming the speaker, the Achiever alumnus, Mr. P.V. Giri.
Morning, everybody. It's nice to be back home, I'd like to say, because I see a lot of familiar faces who studied together for 3 years, and probably that's the most important time in any young man's career. To start with, Ms. Krishnamurthy, Madam, we're very honored to have you here. Also, my father was your employee, so I'm going to complain about him. You also would have complained about him. Well, there's, like Manishankar has put it, it's not been a very big achievement, but a fairly moderate achievement. But we have gone there to be one among the best, especially one among the first 100 hotels in India, being there, and Mr. Oberoi calling me and say, young man, you seem to have been there. Now let's see, are you going to give me a fight? And I said, yes, Mr. Oberoi will have a fight. I don't know, maybe in the next 10 years, this group of companies that I'm heading may be the largest holding company in India, God willing. All of us spoke about institutions that have been started by great people. I'm on the board of 3 institutions today in Mysore, one of them being the JSS College, which is one of the biggest educational institutions started by Swamiji. As I have been interacting with Swamijis and a couple of local trustees, going back, sir, I think today's money that is in education is not the right money. On those days, people invested money on education with sincerity, wanting to educate people. Today, people are investing money in order to reap money back. Today, you find air-conditioned colleges, air-conditioned buses, air-conditioned hostels, which I think is not a prerogative for education. Education has been taken to a level where at least 99.5% cannot afford to do any education. Tell me which government employee can afford to put his son in an engineering college. If you take the total fees that has to be paid, only the fee can be anywhere between 40 to 50,000 rupees, without the other prerequisites. Education today is being sold. Education those days had a certain direction. Today education has no direction. Today education, unfortunately, people think they should study what will get them a good job. Well, I also made that mistake. In the sense, when I was doing my pre-university, I was a high-ranking student, and like everybody at home, Appa Amma said, no, you have to become a doctor. So I thought, yeah, I must become a doctor. I didn't know what it meant to become a doctor. I knew that it was not of me to become a doctor. Then I didn't have the money to go and support myself to the 6 years of education and 1 year of house urgency. Decided to do my business management, went to the old college, finished it. And again, typically, had a private company offering, which was very good. My parents said, no, join a good bank. Then you become a marketable commodity for a girl or for a whatever. A good marketable commodity because you have a good job. Then I said, I was telling my mother, I said, I don't know what I'll do in the bank, I don't like it. She said, what do you want to do? I said, let me go and do business. She said, where do you have the money? I said, no, we'll find it. No. But then I guess, being the only child, I had to listen to my mother. Joined the bank. 1.5 years of choking, doing nothing but credits and debits. 10 to 5 job, nice. But then at the end of the day, there was no satisfaction. You don't seem to be liking what you're doing. So what do? I just said, okay, Mom, I'm going to the US to do my MBA. Everything got ready, then they put the brake. So you go to the US, you're not going to come back alone. Sonny, get married, you do what you want. So they found a girl, I got married, and then of course the story goes on that I couldn't leave the shores of the country. It was a little later in life after marriage that I said, I must take a decision now, or it will not be ever going to happen. So I took a very bold decision. I said, let me quit my job, a banking job, which was paying me well, had good promotional chances. I said, let me quit my job. It had so much repercussion at home, it had so much repercussion among friends, it had so much repercussion among my mentors too. That is one day I learned that if I had a goal, if I had a vision, I did not want to share it with anybody. Because if I did share it with somebody, I was sure that somebody would shoot it down. But taking the decision was very hard. It meant overcoming a lot of obstacles. When we did overcome that, we started very humbly with a very small hotel, an 80-room hotel in partnership in Mysore. Today, one of the leading hotels is that, a vegetarian hotel, but 100% occupancy. It is then that after 12 years of that, we expanded into ice creams, Joy Ice Creams, which is a second venture. Then we moved on, saying that just doing something in India is not very good on the visiting card. I said, let's put some outside the country address. He said, okay. So we went to Malaysia, opened a couple of restaurants in Malaysia, Indian restaurants. Then we went and settled down in Mauritius and found that food business in Mauritius is good. Down the line, as you get into the 40s, you want to take holidays. So what do? So you look for resorts. But when we started looking around for resorts to take holidays when we were around 40, we found it so expensive to go to the Corbett Park or to go to the Ananda in the Himalayas. Would not be anything less than $400 US a day. Only the foreigners could afford it. So I said, no, being a hotelier, I must find a product which a middle income group people should be in a position to take a holiday. So what do? We found the next brand. We found the next brand called the Windflower. Now, to build a resort in a location which is already known was expensive. Land was expensive. So we went a little out of the way, found good location land, built resorts on ground plus first floor at very reasonable cost and started selling them at between $100 to $150. Today, our major clients come from the middle income group. We restricted our resorts to 50-room hotels. The reason being, we didn't want to have a large crowd. Somebody coming on a holiday is not interested in seeing a crowd. Somebody coming on a holiday wants to sit down quietly and have a dinner. Somebody coming on a holiday is either aged or got his grandparents or got his grandchildren with him or is doing a family bonding. All these people required space. So we ensure that each one of our resorts are always on a minimum of 5 acres of land. We spread it. We also put a little bit of facilities like horse riding, a little bit of outdoor games. It was then that we came up with the idea that 90% of the people on a holiday are disturbed by the children between 2 and 4 post lunch. So how do we keep them occupied? We employed a full-time girl and a boy, founded the Windflower Kids Club. The Kids Club starts at 1 o'clock. Starting from, they cook their own Maggi noodles, they eat it, they go horse riding, they're taking boating, sailing. After 4:30, we send them back. So parents are happy, the kids are happy. So again in the night, we did the same trick between 8 to 10 to keep the children and the younger generation happy. These are all things that we found out by our own experience. Whenever we went on a holiday, we found that this is our Coorg property, where we have a natural flowing swimming pool. We found that we had to dig into the customer, find what the customer wanted. End of the day, it is not just the room and the comfort or the air conditioning, but then it had to be a packaged holiday. It had to keep them busy. We had to find ways and methods of keeping the people busy. We found out the small intricacies of keeping people busy. We made sure that other than laying out the food, we found out what this guy would like. The moment he checks in, sir, what do you eat? The request can vary between a kadak roti to a thai sarab. It can vary. We ensured that the chef went and spoke to those people and made sure that they got the dish if it is not on the table. Now ultimately for me, it's package. After the guy pays 600 rupees for his dinner, instead of eating 100 grams, he's not going to eat 150 grams. So my costing was not going up. But that little extra care that my staff have been induced to take over the client was very, very overwhelming. We found that this sort of an interaction is what enabled us to take the crowd forward. Today we have our hotels running, almost having a year-on-year bookings up to 9 months ahead. We have bookings. This new year, all the resorts are sold out in spite of the tariff going up by 50%. So it continues like this. But then, for me, everything has been a passion. I didn't chase money, I chased passion. Whatever I did, I wanted the best. And when I did the best, I knew my customer was happy, I was happy, the returns were flowing in automatically. Now, we are now imparting education in all institutions based on certain curriculums. There needs to also be some way that, I know Mr. Krishnamurthy is today the chairman, he's in a position to take decisions. Somewhere if we can put that little bit of entrepreneurship into the head of youngsters in the third year, at least the mind starts working that they can think. Sir, you have a huge resource here. A lot of people are achievers in a lot of fields. We can spare 1 or 2 days to go down to our institution, and speak whatever we think that will suit the students. That way, actually, I also have been motivated by seeing a couple of my college friends, school friends, moving out from the regular, doing the unusual and succeeding.